Imagine standing on a beach at midnight. But instead of darkness stretching across the water, the entire ocean glows with brilliant electric blue, green, and cyan light. Waves crash in luminescent cascades. Every ripple pulses with color. The horizon blazes like a cosmic aurora beneath the stars. This isn't science fiction. Right now, in certain parts of our planet, the ocean already does this. It's called bioluminescence, and it's one of nature's most spectacular phenomena. But what if it wasn't rare? What if every ocean, every sea, every bay on Earth glowed like neon at night, permanently? Today we're diving into the science of what would happen if our oceans became a planet-wide light show. And trust me, the consequences would be far stranger than you might think. To understand our glowing ocean scenario, we first need to understand how and why some ocean life already glows. Bioluminescence is light produced by living organisms through chemical reactions. In the ocean, it's incredibly common. Scientists estimate that up to 76% of ocean animals can produce light in some form. We're talking about everything from microscopic plankton to giant squid lurking in the deep. The most famous ocean glow comes from dinoflagellates, single-celled organisms that light up when disturbed. The chemical reaction is elegant. A molecule called luciferin reacts with oxygen, catalyzed by an enzyme called luciferase. The result? Cold light, with almost no heat wasted. It's about 90% efficient compared to an old incandescent bulb, which is only 10% efficient. In our hypothetical scenario, let's imagine a mutation has spread through marine ecosystems. Every photosynthetic organism in the ocean, every type of plankton, algae, and bacteria now produces intense bioluminescence constantly, not just when disturbed. The entire ocean surface would glow with the intensity of modern neon signs 24/7, but only visible at night when there's no competing sunlight. Now, here's where things get interesting. The first and most immediate effect would be the complete elimination of nighttime darkness for any coastal region. Scientists measure light in terms of lux. A full moon provides about 0.25 lux. A well-lit office has around 500 lux. If our ocean glowed like quality neon signage, we'd be looking at somewhere between 50 to 150 lux washing over coastal cities at night. That's equivalent to twilight or dawn conditions permanently. This would fundamentally alter human civilization. Coastal cities, where over 40% of the world's population lives, would never experience true night again. The circadian rhythm, our internal biological clock that's been fine-tuned over millions of years of evolution, depends on the cycle of light and dark. Research from institutions like Harvard Medical School has shown that light pollution disrupts melatonin production, the hormone that regulates sleep. A 2017 study published in Environmental Health Perspectives found that exposure to nighttime light increases risks of insomnia, depression, obesity, and even certain cancers. Now multiply that effect across 2 billion people living in coastal zones. We'd see a global health crisis. Sleep deprivation would become endemic. The psychological effects would be profound. Humans aren't meant to live in perpetual twilight. But humans would adapt, right? We'd install blackout curtains, adjust our architecture. The real victims would be the wildlife. Here's where our glowing ocean scenario becomes an ecological nightmare. Sea turtles have been navigating by moonlight for over 100 million years. Hatchlings emerge from beach nests at night and instinctively crawl toward the brightest horizon, which naturally is the moon reflecting off the ocean. In our neon ocean world, the entire coastline would be blindingly bright. Hatchlings would become disoriented, wandering in circles, falling prey to predators, or dying of exhaustion. Within a generation, we could see sea turtle populations collapse. But it gets worse. Many fish species undertake what's called diel vertical migration, the largest migration of animals on Earth. Every night, billions of fish, squid, and krill rise from the deep ocean to feed in surface waters under cover of darkness. This behavior exists specifically because darkness provides protection from predators. With a permanently glowing ocean, there'd be no cover. Predators would have a 24-hour feeding frenzy. The entire food web would destabilize. Species that depend on darkness for survival would be hunted to near extinction. The ecological balance that's existed for millions of years would shatter. According to marine biologists, including researchers at the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, the deep ocean ecosystem is intricately connected to surface conditions. Disrupting surface-level darkness wouldn't just affect surface dwellers, it would cascade through every level of the ocean. Coral reefs, already under immense stress from climate change, would face another challenge. Many coral species spawn at night, synchronized with lunar cycles. Constant light would disrupt these cycles. Reef ecosystems, which support 25% of all marine species despite covering less than 1% of the ocean floor, would face accelerated decline. Now let's talk about something most people wouldn't immediately consider: temperature. Bioluminescence is cold light, meaning it doesn't produce significant heat like fire or incandescent bulbs. However, the organisms producing this light are engaging in constant metabolic activity. They're burning energy, and all that energy ultimately comes from somewhere: the ocean's food web, which starts with photosynthesis. Here's the thing. Photosynthetic plankton, the foundation of ocean life, produce about 50% of Earth's oxygen. They absorb massive amounts of carbon dioxide, acting as one of the planet's primary carbon sinks. A 2019 study in Nature estimated that ocean phytoplankton sequester approximately 10 billion tons of carbon annually. If these organisms are now diverting significant energy into constant bioluminescence, their efficiency at photosynthesis could drop. Even a 10% reduction in ocean carbon absorption would accelerate atmospheric CO2 accumulation, worsening climate change at a time when we desperately need the opposite. There's also the light reflection factor. Ocean water normally absorbs most light, keeping it dark and allowing it to absorb solar heat. But a glowing ocean would reflect more light back into the atmosphere. This is called albedo. Scientists study similar effects with Arctic ice. More reflection means less heat absorption by the ocean, which sounds good, but would actually disrupt ocean currents that depend on temperature gradients. The Atlantic Meridional Overturning Circulation, which includes the Gulf Stream, is driven partly by temperature differences. Mess with ocean heat distribution, and you could alter global weather patterns, affecting everything from European winters to African monsoons. So how would humanity respond to a permanently glowing ocean? Initially, there'd be wonder. Tourism would explode. Every coastline would become a destination. The economic boom for coastal regions would be unprecedented. We'd see new festivals, neon ocean cruises, bioluminescence theme parks. But the novelty would fade as the consequences mounted. Governments would face impossible choices. Do you relocate coastal populations inland? That's economically catastrophic. Do you mandate complete light-blocking infrastructure? The cost would be staggering. We're talking about retrofitting billions of buildings, redesigning coastal cities. The shipping industry would face unexpected challenges. Navigation has always relied on distinguishing lights, markers, and signals against a dark ocean. With the entire ocean glowing, traditional navigation aids would need complete redesign. Maritime accidents could spike before new systems were implemented. Commercial fishing would transform. Fish behavior would change so dramatically that century-old fishing knowledge would become obsolete overnight. Some fisheries would collapse while others might unexpectedly thrive. Global food security, already stressed by overfishing and climate change, would face a new, massive disruption. Scientists would mobilize. There'd be an international effort to either control or eliminate the bioluminescent bloom. But here's the challenge. The ocean covers 71% of Earth's surface. It contains 1.35 billion cubic kilometers of water. How do you treat that? Even if we developed a biological agent to suppress the bioluminescence, deploying it globally would be like trying to paint the sky. We'd need cooperation from every nation, flawless execution, and there'd be risks of unintended consequences that could be even worse. The reality is, we'd probably have to adapt. A permanently glowing ocean sounds magical at first, and in small doses, in specific places, bioluminescence is one of nature's most beautiful phenomena. It reminds us that life finds extraordinary ways to exist and adapt. But scaled to a global, permanent phenomenon, it becomes a cautionary tale about balance. Ecosystems are intricate machines built over millions of years. Change one fundamental variable, like the presence of darkness, and the entire system can unravel. This thought experiment reveals something crucial about our real world. We're already conducting a similar experiment with light pollution. Cities glow brighter every year. Artificial light at night has increased by at least 2% annually worldwide. We're erasing darkness from vast swaths of the planet. The effects are already measurable. Disrupted wildlife, altered insect populations, human health impacts, obscured views of the stars that have guided and inspired humanity for millennia. The glowing ocean scenario is fictional, but the principle is real. We're changing our planet's fundamental conditions faster than life can adapt. The ocean might not literally glow, but it's warming, acidifying, and losing oxygen. These changes, while less visually dramatic, are just as profound. So the next time you see bioluminescence, whether in person or in a video, appreciate it for what it is, a rare, beautiful phenomenon that exists because it's rare. Some things are special precisely because they don't happen everywhere, all the time. Because sometimes the most beautiful light is the one that knows when to turn off. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into hypothetical ocean science, leave a like and subscribe for more explorations of the question, what if? Until next time, keep imagining.